Have you ever wondered what would have happened if Rush, one of rock's greatest bands, chose to take it easy after their big hit album and never made their masterpiece? What if Moving Pictures, with songs like Tom Sawyer and Limelight, simply never existed? Stick around, because by the end of the video, I'll reveal the surprising twist that almost stopped it all. Let's go back to the late 1970s. Rush was a Canadian rock band from Toronto. The members were Geddy Lee on bass and vocals, Alex Lifeson on guitar, and Neil Peart on drums. They started in 1968, but Neil joined in 1974 after their first album. Early on, Rush played hard rock with long songs and big ideas. Albums like Fly By Night in 1975, and 2112 in 1976 made them famous for progressive rock. 2112 was special because it saved the band. Their label wanted them to make shorter, radio-friendly songs, but Rush stuck to their style with a 20-minute title track about freedom and music. It became a hit, selling over 1 million copies. Without 2112, Rush might have broken up. But success meant hard work. They toured a lot, made albums every year. By 1978, with Hemispheres, their songs were very complex. The band felt tired. Geddy Lee later said they were pushing too hard. They needed a change. In 1980, they released Permanent Waves. This album had shorter songs like The Spirit of Radio, which mixed rock with reggae beats. It was a big success, reaching number 4 on the Billboard charts. Fans loved the new sound, and it played on the radio more. Rush was excited, but after touring for Permanent Waves, they were worn out again. Here's where things get interesting. After the tour, Rush planned to make a live album called Exit Stage Left. It would capture their concerts and give them a break from writing new music. They thought it was time to rest and just record shows. A friend of the label, Cliff Bernstein, saw him play in New York. He told them, "Permanent Waves is so great, maybe we should go back to the studio for another record." At first, they stuck to the live album plan, but then at last minute, they changed their minds. Alex Lifeson said, "We were scheduled to do this big live album. Then at the last minute, we said, you know what, forget this. We're not going to do a live album. We're going back to the studio." Geddy added, "It was exciting to suddenly change plans. Okay, forget it. We're going back in." Why the switch? They felt a creative spark from Permanent Waves. They wanted to keep the momentum. Alex called this choice one of the most important in their career, second only to 2112. But what if they hadn't switched? No Moving Pictures, imagine that. This decision set the stage for an album that would change rock music. In the summer of 1980, the band went to a quiet spot to write. They stayed at Ronnie Hawkins' estate on Stony Lake in Ontario. It was a barn turned into a studio. They had fun there, barbecues, swimming in the lake, hobbies. Alex flew radio-controlled airplanes. One crashed into a truck, maybe even the producers. Their producer, Terry Brown, whom they called Broon, had his own toy plane that spun out of control. Everyone laughed, but they worked hard too. They used tape machines to record ideas. Alex played guitar riffs fast, so they had to catch him on tape before he forgot. Songs came together one by one. Red Barchetta was inspired by a sci-fi story about a future where cars are banned. Alex added chords and harmonics. It became a fan favorite about freedom and adventure. But how would it sound live? They always thought about that. Then there was YYZ, named after the Toronto airport code. Geddy and Neil jammed on bass and drums. They turned the airport's Morse code into the song's intro, dash, dot, dot, dot for Y, and so on. Alex had to match it on guitar. It's an instrumental track full of energy, and here's a fun fact. YYZ won a Grammy nomination for Best Rock Instrumental. Limelight started with a simple riff. Alex played it during a session, and they taped it by chance. Lyrics by Neil talk about fame's downsides. He wrote, "Living in the limelight, the universal dream." Neil was shy, didn't like spotlight, so it came from his heart. The camera eye is longer, about 11 minutes. It's like two parts. One about New York, one about London. Neil got the idea from writer John Dos Passos to use sound effects, even from a Superman movie, capture city life within building moods and big climaxes. Vital Signs was the last song. They wrote it right in the studio. It has a reggae feel, talks about life's signals. The spontaneous style hinted at their next album, Signals. Now, Witch Hunt, it's a three-part series called Fear. They recorded the mob scenes outside in the cold. The band wore coats and made grunts and shouts. Alex yelled something about football or something. It was right after John Lennon died, so they drank scotch and laughed to cheer up. But the biggest challenge was Tom Sawyer.
Warrior, mean strike. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride.
The song almost didn't make the album. Geddy said, for the longest time, it was the worst song on the record. They had trouble with the bass sound. Geddy switched from his Rickenbacker to Fender jazz bass, which he didn't like at first. Lyrics co-written with a poet, Pi Dubois, about a modern rebel. The solo took many tries. Engineer Paul Northfield had an idea, mic'd the speakers in stereo for a tubular sound. Finally, when they heard the full mix with bass pedals, Geddy said, holy cow, this works. But up until then, there was real doubt. Recording happened at Le Studio in Morton Heights, Quebec. It's a beautiful place by Lake Perry, with mountains around. They could drive home in 5 hours. It had a volleyball court and a French chef. They felt at home there. Terry Brown produced. Paul helped with the ideas. But there were problems. New mixing console had glitches. In winter, snow cold, electrical spikes. Mixes would change overnight. They thought they were going crazy. Mixing was done by hand because the computer failed. It was a blizzard outside when they finished. Despite the hurdles, Moving Pictures came out on February 12, 1981, which happens to be its 45th anniversary today. It has 7 songs, tight and focused, no long concepts like before, just strong tracks, sold over 1 million copies, went platinum. Tom Sawyer became their biggest hit, played everywhere. The album defined 80s rock with synths, complex rhythms, and smart lyrics. Rush toured it worldwide. Songs like Limelight and YYZ stayed in their live sets for years. Moving Pictures showed Rush at their best. They balanced prog rock with radio appeal. Critics who once called them Led Zeppelin copies now praise them, opened doors for the mainstream without losing their edge. After this, albums like Signals in 1982 added more keyboards. So by the Moving Pictures, almost never happened. It all came down to that last-minute decision. If they had stuck with the live album plan after Permanent Waves, there would be no studio record in 1981. No Tom Sawyer struggles, no Le Studio magic. Friends like Cliff Bernstein convinced them to capitalize on their success. Geddy called it exciting to change plans. That bold move gave us an album that changed rock history. If you enjoyed this dive into Rush's story, make sure you check out my video I did on Rush's Presto. It will be on the screen right now. What do you think? Is Moving Pictures the best album? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more music history. Hit the bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and keep on rocking.